I don't have space in the bag. Uh, bah, bah. Oh, who goes there? Ow. Oh, hello. Hi there. What's up? Were you the one that left me this note to meet as soon as possible and to bring lavender? Okay, yeah. What's up? Sorry that it probably. I hope it wasn't that long since you left it. This place is horrible. I'm so sorry. It's all just carpet. Just put it on the wall. At this point, I should just replace it with actual wool. And I do have a lavender. A singular one. I thought I had more. I have found books in my possession. Usually they are hidden. These were in. They were in your hands. What do you. Like did they just appear or were you doing some other stuff? Oh, thanks. Okay, dot and notes. I'll read the notes first. Oh, hit list, Wiley, the one who. Oh, that's interesting. Clears my ways. Fellow. Keep an eye. Mist. Quotes therapist. Dragon nose. Safe. Be careful. Bite. The doctor. Little animal nose. Tense with me. Debatable. Julian dog. Wolf. Julian's. I'm going to fix it. Wolf. Threat zero. Dragon. No threat. Pepper. Dragon. No threat. Brook. Bird. Person unknown. Fellow cat. Debatable. And then it's cereals. I mean, like, sort of, if there's not a reason for us to step in and take over, we want to go crazy. Because last time that I saw you briefly, I was at spawn. I do not remember traveling there. Okay, here's your notes back. Do you also want me to give you the lavender? Yeah, just before I get to the next point, because I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. No, keep that for when we speak. I should probably get the shield out of my hands. No, keep that for when we speak so I know what I told you that. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's no problem. I'll hold on to it gladly if that helps. So, last time you saw me briefly and don't remember how you got there. Well, do you do you want to stand here or do you want to go? I mean, there's just more carpets and I'd argue less surface. But if you know want to sit, you can sit anywhere really. I'll sit here there. Well, what was I going to say? Well, since last time, I don't remember when it was, which I should remember to take notes about when I'm getting asked things myself. But it was a while. It was when. Do you remember the meeting with Bite, the doctor meeting? Oh yeah, it was. It was on that day, I think, that I was asked to essentially just keep track of a few things, you know, to help you out really. And one of them, the book didn't say. One of them was on, I think the 20, 22nd, so like a little a day or a week ago or so. That when you were at spawn, I noticed that initially you were holding a wither rose, and in your signs you were speaking in lower caps, and then you know at one point you did switch over to holding the aluminium and speaking in or writing in all capital letters. So if you said that, you know, you can also turn around, I'm pretty sure, on the seat. Probably just easier. So I'm not entirely sure if it's the same day, but that's the last time that I also saw you, so probably. Do you remember anything else possibly happening in between? Or has anything else happened since? I am unsure who wrote the hit list. It worries me. I don't know um, either, and also the, the the parts of it do confuse me a little bit. Like, well, I guess Fellow did push you around the last time when we were just on the trees, pushed you down. I don't know about Wiley. I also cannot remember meeting with a Dr. Bite. I mean, it was a while back, I would say at this point, like a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of weeks ish. It was a bit before the 22nd, I think. But you know, you were there, and I think, you know, then you also, you know, there was the change with the signs. If you don't recall that, I wasn't in the room, so I cannot say how much that really happened, but you know. I cannot remember if I was supposed to tell him. There was something about that, but I'm probably gonna get. Hmm, I don't know. No, I only remember to speaking to Bite in the main room. Alright, so is currently your main. What are your main worries currently, besides, the hit list you said it worries you? I think I can at least sort of with the fellow see why-ish, but this could be linked to what we were sort of talking about at spawn before you remember speaking to Bite in the main room. I don't know what nose means in this book. I'm gonna wait for you to write that down. Along with the one who wears my face. Okay, so I I I I remember that I was told something, I think, about a telling, but I can't recall if it was to tell or not to tell. But I'm going to at least for you, you know, take the initiative to tell, even if it wasn't like a tell, but based on this book and the first one that you showed, it seems to be written at least in the same way as when you would be walking around writing in the signs with smaller capital letters, like all small letters, and the one who wears my face. Let's sit down. I would just, yeah, there's just some drawings if you want to doodle. I and there's the easel. But anyway, I would say it's referring to you. Would be, oh no, oh, soldier down. Intermission music just fades to black. All good. I'll just put on Grian's put on hold music and speed this up. Permit office moment. God, I wish we could do something like that. It would be funny. I mean, technically, I could set up a looping jukebox with certain type of music. We will turn this server into Hermitcraft too. Anyway, I'm just going to remove these since there's nothing on them. Actually, do you want to switch this? This one actually has the wall. So I have spoken to you without this flower before. Yes, it was as I had said on the 22nd or 21st, I think. It was when we first met that day that you were first holding a wither rose, and then later on towards the end, a little bit before I left, you then switched to holding onto that flower and typing with uppercase. So that's why I think the one who wears my face is referring to you because of these correlations between the signs, and I know it's a lot, but I don't exactly know how else to word it. So, apologies to that if it adds any confusion. I can try and explain further what I think and what else I've noticed, because I don't want you to feel anxious or worried that you've been, at any unsafe moments when you don't remember talking or doing things, or like how the hit list, that how that can be worrying. But if it's this isn't my typical speech, the other doesn't do this. No, the other times that that's just been one so far is has been in all like small letters, a little bit more proper, I would say, as well. Oh, here, which is if the hit list is, oh my god, sorry, if the hit list is possibly based on the last time that I saw, I would just, assure you that, nothing had happened. You and fellow didn't get in any like actual arguments. I think at most you got pushed off at a tree, but in like a playful sort of way. I don't know about Wiley, but I was there for a good chunk of the time. I don't think anything actually, went down. So you're safe, so to speak. So nothing to worry with Wiley or fellow. I was truly worried I was having unknowingly harmed others. No, no, you're fine. If you're fine, it was a chill day. You were just standing on one of the lamps for the majority and just looking at people and taking a little part on the tea of what happened, but nothing, no arguments or anything. You're fine. I think whatever this other, uh, mindset was that you just took it a bit more, harshly, something that had happened since with since I wasn't in the room when you and Dr. Bite talked, but I could occasionally hear some things, and just ask your name and everything, details. And during that conversation, she had, I think, asked it twice, and on those two occasions, you had given a slightly different answer, essentially the same, but there was a small difference, and you didn't question why it was being asked again. I don't think, at least. But I think it's important for you to know that, regardless of how it was um, communicated, because you are still having these gaps in memories, and I think it's best you know what had exactly happened rather than avoiding details. I seem to be losing more time. I do not recall meeting with a doctor. Yeah, I can't say how often that sort of change happened with Bite, but she did note that it happened outside the office around then. I think that day you were losing most sense of time, and there was a lot of talk from a Bite about dissociation specifically. It's behind you. I have never heard of that word. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's God. It's how do I phrase this exactly? Yeah, that's at least what she had mentioned, that I heard briefly. That was one of the words that I overheard while I was sitting in the main area. Okay, I was making sure that you were actually actually there. You were just looking outside, but yeah. So dissociation, essentially, to the best of my words, is it's. I just heard something anyway. Oh, it's the wasps, and it's fine. The wasps don't matter. I'm going to silence the wasps. But dissociation, to the best of my wording, is linked with that similar type of loss of time. That's stuff kind of like the main cause, like essentially your brain. I don't see the wasp. Where is the wasp? Where is the wasp? I don't see the wasp. Well, there's a fly. Wasp, leave us alone. I'm trying to explain dissociation with the best of my remembrance of. There is a huge fly. Like it flew past. I think it was actually a fly instead of a wasp this time harassing us. Oh god, the very professional therapist here. I'm thinking on how to put it. Fly wasp be damned. It's therapy time, and one of the few non English native speakers having to explain what a word means. At a totally normal time anyway, it is quite a wonderful night. And it's night, as goes, so goes time. So sense of loss loss of times is one of the symptoms for dissociation. It's essentially, usually in a stressful situation or a traumatic situation, your brain can dissociate in the moment, sort of to protect itself from being aware of the harm that's currently happening. And that's why, the loss of time and loss of memory can occur in those moments of dissociation, because your brain essentially just shuts everything else out for that moment, and they can last. They can last really just any time, and even then, I think I've heard of cases where it doesn't necessarily have to be a stressful situation. It can just happen because brains are like that. They just decide to, hey, let's do this, even though everything's seemingly fine. So that was the word that Byte had mentioned, and what I think, from my my little bit of knowledge and remembering of the outside, that it's likely what you're experiencing in those moments of not remembering and behaving a little bit differently, because for some it can essentially be sort of like an out of body experience also. So that can cause some confusion or lost sense of self. I keep stealing your signs. I'm so sorry. Oh, yep, there's a fly. Had to take care of a very important business outside. No, you're so real. I just muted hostile mob sounds. But I mean, yeah, speaking from, what I had heard, is there a way to stop this? Ah, I'm not certain since it is an involuntary reaction by the brain. I'm not entirely sure or exactly knowledgeable on whenever or not it can be exactly stopped. Maybe it could be possibly controlled. Actually, wait, I think there's somewhat could be a way to try and manage dissociation. There are some grounding techniques like trying to see what you can feel, what you can hear and see and smell. That sort of things. I just don't want to hurt someone without knowing. Hey, listen, it's fine. Let's just focus on this right now. I'm sure that you wouldn't just go rogue, okay? But I don't know for sure if there's actual ways to stop dissociation, but there are some grounding techniques if you feel somewhat like, hey, things are a little bit off right now, right? If you can notice, and the loss of time is concerning, it is interfering. Yeah, I can see why, and why it's stressful and worrying if you want to do something and then suddenly you're not doing the thing alongside other things. But as I said, there's at least somewhat ways to possibly stop stop it from happening, or at least relieving it a little bit. The grounding techniques of you know naming certain amount of things that you can see, feel, hear, or having an item with you that you think could help you stay more present in that moment. But I at least don't think there's exactly a way with the loss of time if you fully then dissociate in the moment, as from what I've heard at least. Has the dissociation mentioned the mold? I have mentioned the mold. I was the one who brought it up. But I had given you mold. I found damage. Oh, oh, oh goodness. Oh dear. Um, there hadn't been mentions of mold after, but I had been the one to give you mold because I thought it would be funny. It seems like it was my foresight that I'd forgotten, ironically enough, about you forgetting. Um, that's an issue. The mold, really. Sorry. I have like 400 mold blocks. Oh, I'm not giving you any more mold. I'm sorry. Do you want to show the mold damage? I can help you clean it up. Oh goodness, it grew fairly fast, but I had it in like a layer. I think I had it at the church. I'm here. Oh, my ping is fine. It's yellow. Oh, your ping. Oh, yep. Okay, there it goes. But listen, I'm so used to my ping also being fucked up. So I was like, oh, is it gonna jump? The ping loves warping. They're sending just fine enough. So where's the mold? Sure, I'll go into. I'm not seeing any mold here. But I do recognize the deep slate spots because that's for some reason what the mold does. I removed it, but it has left damage. As well as some of the wood. I think passing by I noticed a little bit. Well, there's dirt. It's not visible here, but I did notice a little color variation. Yeah, that. Yeah, black mold is really nasty. It's really nasty. It's unfortunate that it had spread that way, but think I think the planks are just damaged and they shouldn't spread. The mold I think it just was damaged. I fear that this other state is not a fan of the church. Magic. The power of the church. And what would make you think that this other state would not like the church with the wood and the book with sorrow? I fear the other is out to get me. Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, I think you gave. Yeah, I read this one. Yeah, like no issue with buildings if it's not a hazard. Yeah, I think with the one who wears my face. I think since okay, you're there. I think since the um when you're dissociated, since the I'm just going to say you for now. This other state had written, dragon nose and then say be careful and then nose. I think what they or what you were referring to was that they that me and White know and are aware of these changes in behavior and such. I think that's what it was meant by that. And I think if they're at least that much aware, it could be the other like state has noticed also the loss of time. And you know you, you know how even just when you remember stuff you might be angry with yourself because you just in a casual way forgot to, let's say, organize your backpacks, and then you realize like, oh, I've been doing something else for an hour. You know how you can be mad at yourself at tiny things like that. I think especially in a dissociated state, if you are at least somewhat aware, that you can have that sense of like confusion and you know maybe slight anger towards yourself, that even when it's out of your control you feel like you could handle some things better, I suppose. I think it could be, my guess would be that it could be something similar to that, since we feel these sort of things even when we recall stuff. I think I understand. Apologies. It is getting slightly difficult thing. That's fine. You don't have to apologize. I know that I've been explaining a lot as well, and it is a lot to take in, and I suck at words sometimes. So partially it is on me as well. And since it is area that I'm not like knowledgeable on exactly, I'm trying to find the best way to explain. things to you, and keeping things on track, and just figuring things out together, not to try to scare you or anything, or just throw theories. I am trying to be careful with my wording. But I'll keep an eye out. I'll continue keeping an eye out on things, and making sure that everything's all right. So you don't have to worry. Likely, if you're somewhere at spawn, I'll be there also with you. And if something would come up with someone, I'll just say that you're going through your own thing, and to be patient and mindful, so that there's a lesser chance at someone getting accidentally mad at you when you're still trying to figure things out yourself. I appreciate it, miss, when you see the doctor, tell her that I said hello. All right, I will. And I think it might be a little while. I don't know. Sometimes she comes around. Are you feeling all right? Do I always hold this stupid aliens? Nah, can't say for sure. Here I keep picking up your signs. Yeah, no problem. We were just checking out the moldy planks. Oh yeah, accidentally did that. Yeah, the mold spreads like crazy. I was surprised how fast it does around here. Did I call over the look? Sorry, I don't remember. Yeah, you did, and Oh, good. I mean, I was the one handing out mold, so I just felt it was right to come check because oh Jesus Christ, it does spread just like goddamn wildfire. Yeah, it does. Like that. Yep. I mean, a lot of things do end up just molding, so that checks out. Oh, Jesus Christ! I was all the way over here. Why do the sign just love me? Dude, you're zooming over like crazy. I could see you lag. The signs want me so bad. Sorry I made you come all the way out from old. No, no, don't don't apologize for it, man. Like again, I was the one that had been handing out the black mold, and then it was said like, oh, how it had spread, so it only made sense to take a little responsibility and come check it out, just to be just to be sure because I didn't know how it would affect planks, but now I know. So it's no worries at all. I wasn't in the middle of anything either. Sorry, I feel not together. Dude, you don't have to apologize for a thing. And like I had something else to say. Yeah, just a little bit earlier you were saying that it was getting hard to think, so it could be just from that. Like here in the church when we're chatting. Oh, the other one. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose I'd had been given your the notes, and I didn't get the chance to give them back, so just here I did add do not the mold. Yeah, but the other state had noticed and was worried and had come to me, so I was just trying to ease its its worries a little bit about the mold. Was since I had given Bean the notes and it was the first thing on the list was follow on the hit list because of the tree pushing, being pushed off a tree. Yes, I mean that there came to me being like, hey, I just woke up with these books in my hands, so that's that's how the conversation came to be. And so they were confused and little frightened about the hit list, but I assured that nothing had actually happened in terms of like being in danger. Makes sense. I thought I passed out at spawn. Yeah, we initially, um, well, I guess me and the other said they had come to my office and then we came here, and that's the only two places we've been. So I guess my guess is that's when they noticed like the books and then read them and got worried and came to me. Worried about the hit list? Guess the thing can take a joke. Hey, listen, being how just crazy this Isles is, I think they were also just more worried about the other people and having picked a fight that they do not remember, because who exactly enjoys getting, even in a fight in general about people that they know and be like, now I have to deal with this, but add not remembering why, and even anyone would get worried about that. I guess the one that wears face, or whichever it was, also added on, since they appear to be more of a gentle in nature, so parts react how they react. I guess when you put it like that, I'm just trying to keep it safe. Yeah, I understand that it is rough here, but my tiny bit of input would be to at least provide it a little bit more context, since it appears to be worried. I think I eased its worries a little bit more, explaining things throughout and how the memory loss stuff can occur. But since they're not there to actually see and experience the things full on, they don't have the same context or understanding. since they really were just worried about the more time loss. Oh my god, these signs. But yeah, I would say at least a little bit more context. I know providing a lot, especially if they end up giving it to someone else, can contribute to being in a bit more danger, but something simple. Has it ever talked about home? The other guy? No, no. We've just been really chatting about kinda ish similar stuff that we currently are, and most has just been talked about the church and the tree, but there hasn't been any detailed discussions about that. You know, I'm going to do this little trick of disappearing for a moment so you get pick up priority. Pray tells the signs aren't attracted to me now. The signs, the signs want us to hold hands, man. They want us to have that, me handing over the sign, just, just having a nice moment. That's the signs are red, man. The color of love and blood. The greatest questions. Anyway, maybe I'll try to be kinder. I've always been worried about talking to it. It's already fragile. Yeah, I can see how that is, but at the end of the day, it's in the same situation as much as you are, and can't know if you don't give a little bit more of a push in explaining whenever you remember and can. Sometimes you just gotta give a little bit of extra nurture so that they can grow strong. But in any case, I am here to help and relay messages in whatever way I can. If you have something in mind that you want to say to it, but feel like you don't know how to word it more gentler, I can try and assist with that. I know it's no obligation, and you know how that can be a lot to ask, but you know, I wouldn't say stuff if I didn't mean it, because at the end of the day, if someone were to lie about that, it would come out sooner or later and then come by back, and you know, there's no reason to have such things happen. I guess taking things from its head is not too kind of me. I am a little. I know what. Never mind. I think I got it. Mm, yeah. You know, you. At the end of the day, you also don't remember stuff that happens when it's out doing things. So I guess it's a communication that builds bridges. As easy as it is to get infuriated with yourself or in any other way, sometimes, especially again, the same situation scenario of people people parts are going to react differently depending on different times. But you know, you've still been doing trying your best. You've been doing best with what you can manage, you know, keeping track of who can be trusted and whatnot, and that's been doing a good job, you know, keeping not only yourself safe but this other um part of you. So you know, you haven't been just absolutely horrible, cruel to this other part. You've been doing the best with what you've been given, and also not having interacted with a lot of the other people, it can be hard to decipher what's the next call. To try and make this easier, you can call me Marison, same last name. The other one can be Terror for now, I guess. Yeah, like, suppose the other guy can get the deeps this time, but it's, I suppose, nice to meet you, Marison. That is a good name. We both matched, starting with M, and that's as far as that goes. Um, but that is good to know, and also, well, relating to that, when it's seeming that you're out, would you like me in when around other people refer to you as Marison, or still keep it at Terror until you've been able to, with your own opinion, assess the others? Oh yeah, that was me. I've accidentally turned off two of the candles. I only feel comfortable with you knowing for now. All right, I got it. I'll keep referring to you with Terror when at spawn or otherwise around others. Mary was my mother. Oh, well, she's got a lovely name too. Yeah. I'm not I'm not going to bribe any further unless you want to talk about it, but in the meanwhile, I can share my mom's name, I guess, as a trade. I feel like in conversations I'd have to offer something of equal, so I can share my mom's name. Oh my, that sign was closed in my defense, I think. Sure, if you're comfortable. In Twitter skeleton culture, the child is named after the father. I don't subscribe to that. Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't heard of that before, culture wise, but you know, to each of their own. That's fair. You're still at the end of the day your own person. But yeah, my mom's name is Eden. she's still she's really nice. The last that I saw her before the Isles. I mean, I just kind of chose my own name, sort of. But there's no really deeper reason to it. I just felt like it didn't fit me. Eden is a beautiful name. Yeah, it is. It is really nice. Just as is your mother's. You can tell a lot by names sometimes, and it is that gentle sounding name, kind of like my mom. So I chose our name at a certain age. All children do. It was in the spirit of my father. I hated it. He was blind. I became terror. I see. All wither scales have names like that. Piglings that are not are far more normal. Yeah, I suppose so. I hadn't in my travels met any wither skeletons or such. I hadn't really gone traveling in the nether before or anything, so I hadn't really gotten a chance to know details and such. And I'm sure it varies a little bit in certain areas depending on how they've chosen to surround themselves. But that is, I'm thank you for sharing this knowledge. Either way, whenever or not you like it or dislike it, it's still you are sharing, you know, an important part of you regardless. And if you have any questions to me, ask away. I am an open book. I don't have anything to hide. I figured if you know about more than one of me, you can handle some of my stupid past. Hey, come on now. No, no past is stupid, even if it's filled with the bullshit that annoys you and has made you through a lot. But yeah, I'm absolutely, a listening ear in either way. Like I know that I can sound fairly cheery and everything, being able to provide in a more, I guess, thoughtful, positive light. But I have seen and experienced fair amount of stuff myself, so I can handle things. And if you ever want any stories yourself, I'll be willing to share. I appreciate it. I really do. You are now one of the few who really know about me. And well, I'm honored. I guess it would be right to say to that. I am genuinely interested in hearing about you, not just for, you know, terror's sake, but seeing how, different you are. It's just, I guess, natural for me to, you know, be welcoming either way, no matter the circumstances, you're still, you know, a different person. So I will take learning about a, a potential new, friend and ally, all the same. It is good to treasure those few who you can trust the best you can. So, you know, that means a lot. Yeah, of course. Just doing the best that I can with what I know. And remember, I am one of the few lucky people here who, you know, remembers of the outside and such. So I try my best to provide with what I've been given and what I know and have experience, and knowing how everything is here with everyone. It can be hard to trust certain people. I know for a fact I was like that at the very beginning when I first got here. Very cautious and careful about everyone, trying to see who I can trust and be allies with when we started seeing stuff go down early on. So, I have that sense of understanding and just try to relate the best I can to someone who I can see very much gets it. Terror, trust you, which probably isn't hard, but still you seem safe for me to. Yeah, I was, I was going to say guess that you were going to say something like that about it, but yeah, I'm glad that I've been able to give you that sense, and I'll fight like the devil to keep that going. And I can tell Terror as well to be a little bit more careful. The protection extends both ways. If you ever need anything, tell me. Yeah, I will. And, at any given point, I'm more a fighter than terror. Yeah, I guess I can't remember who was out when the I was getting attempted murdered on, but you know what? It was fine. They weren't even that hard to fight. Someone attempted to hurt you. Yeah, it was a couple or so weeks back, but I cannot tell if it was targeted or not. But the institute is aware of it, and I have told other people to keep an eye out. But there was fine. I told it to go to the church to get away just in case, because I could handle myself in the moment, even when it was a surprise. So everything's been fine since. But we don't know who it was exactly. If whoever is after you shows their face, tell me, I'll be there. I appreciate that. I'll try to handle it myself as well, since vast majority of my weapons tend to damage others, and I wouldn't want you know either of you in there to get hurt or downed by them, or even killed by them by accident. So I'll try to handle it on my own firsthand. But if you happen to be there, I'll try to make it so that you don't get hurt by the weapons either. I can take a few hits and be fine, promise. Yeah, I bet. I got you. Well,